I leave for a little while, come back to you back inside with dueling banjos, rustling chickens, and talking to ghosts. Yeah, that's essentially how my streams go. Scandinavian love spoons are cool too. Scandinavian love spoons are cool. What? Woodpecker, are you doing cocaine too, buddy? Scandinavians love spoons are. That is not a sentence. That is, my man. I don't. You've got dangling modifier like like. My brain just broke. Maybe I'm tired. Maybe I don't. Are you trying to say Scandinavians love spoons that are cool too? Like they only love cool spoons, or they love spoons and that's cool? People to be very, externally themselves instead of internally themselves. And I think the only way that you can be internally yourself is it takes a lot of introspection. Like, I've struggled with who I am as a person for a very long time, questioning my own, why do I believe this? Like the epistemology of my own knowledge. Like like, why do I believe this is true? And if you ask why enough, you're eventually going to get somewhere where there isn't an answer. And that's the beautiful thing about existence, is we get to decide when we stop asking why. And for me, I think I've asked why a few too many times. Or maybe not enough, I don't know. Oh man, Amanda, light of my life, fate should made you a gentleman's wife. A lot of people, there's a stigma with saying ax instead of ask, and that's actually the most ridiculous thing ever. Like, don't ever, like, if you're on my stream right now and somebody says ax instead of ask, don't chastise them for it. It's actually something called metathesis, which is a valid linguistic phenomenon that is natural. And if you go back to Chaucer in the Canterbury Tales, he actually writes it as both ASK and AKS, because back then metathesis did not have a stigma behind it and it was commonly used. But nowadays, if somebody says ax instead of ask, it has a negative connotation to it. And that's a modern example of people just being ignorant about language and making opinions about people before they actually get to know them, because we can be a very judgmental breed of whatever you want to say. But anyway, sorry, that was my linguistics classes coming out in me. But yeah, it is a valid linguistics theory called metathesis, and it's the just the switching of consonants, and it happens all the time. I do it all the time, but we've been taught it affects primarily certain, obviously, groups of people. But Chaucer, one of the most influential European proper writers of all time, said ax and AKS, and it's not AXE as people write it, it's AKS instead of ASK. So that's just something a lot of people don't know. So maybe you learned something, maybe you didn't, I don't know. I just see that a lot in it. I hate when people bring other people down because of a difference that they have. Like, oh, you don't talk exactly like me, you're stupid, or you don't say this word just like me, you're uneducated. Yeah, and it's, the only way we have to communicate with other people is words. I mean, of gestures and whatever. But whatever we're thinking, might not necessarily, whatever we say might not necessarily, like, has anyone ever said something they meant one way and someone interpreted it another way? You'd be surprised how often that happens in just about everything. There's no, like, in reading, you get 100 brilliant PhDs in a room and you give them all the same book, and they're going to take away different things because they all have their own experiences that they're bringing to that book, and they all relate. Like, they all have different upbringings that led them to that book, or that led them to their interpretation of that book, and that's how everything is. And it can be very lonely sometimes, especially when you feel like you don't have the right words to say to express what you're trying to do, which is why I write poems. One of my college professors said a poem is like a spontaneous overflow of emotions, and sometimes that's, I feel, the only way I can express myself. And my poem might not mean anything to somebody, but it means something to me, and it might mean something to somebody else. It's just some little fraction of who I was in that exact moment and what I was thinking, and it's kind of like a little memento, and that's how I express the conscious part of my brain. But I feel like I'm also a little like ADHD or something, where I've got to like have something physical to do, like make a spoon to be able to talk. Like, description words are always up to, description word, and every word is a description word when you think about it. It's all words are is what a concept. And Prize, that woodpecker, I know you've probably heard me say this, but to the rest of the 13 of y'all out there, words are just placeholders for ideas that we think that other people also think, which is an interesting way to interpret it, because they're just random letters that have random syllables that, when put in a certain order, mean something to the person saying it, but there can be some translation losses in there, and I think that's I think there would be, if people understood that more, there would just be more acceptance in the world. I think so much effort putting, and it's you might hate somebody, but they're not the person. They don't think the things that you think. How do I say this? You might hate somebody because you think they have a certain view that they don't actually have, just because of the words that they've used that you might have been misinterpreted. And it's also about not living on autopilot. It's about also not, living in the moment and making a conscious, every single moment of your life, you need to be conscious of what you're doing. And that's kind of like a Buddhist practice. Like a lot of Buddhists will walk very slowly and focus intently on their physical presence in the world as well as their mental presence. I am not a Buddhist. However, that is one thing that I have taken away from another one of my favorite writers who was a Buddhist monk. Unfortunately, he recently passed, and that was Thich Nhat Hanh. If I said that, I think I said that mostly correctly. If not, I apologize. But unfortunately, he recently passed away. But he was such a beautiful person. His words were so understanding, and just everything was okay. And it was just such a beautiful, beautiful way to look at life. and he didn't teach it to just Buddhists. I mean, he taught it to everybody. He's a really, really beautiful person for all the things that he did. I mean, he worked with Martin Luther King in the Birmingham marches. There's a picture of him working, there, and he was just a huge advocate of peace. Yeah, everyone's looking through their own lens, exactly. Yeah. Some people have similar lenses and other people don't. Yeah. And also, I think everybody knows this fact, but the closest living relative to the T-Rex is our chickens. So essentially, that's why I call them my little dinos. And they do act very T-Rexes. If they had wings and were like, I mean, I'm pretty sure T-Rex, T-Rexi, T-Rexes, T-Rexum, T-Rexes, plural of, what's the plural of T-Rex? T-Rex, the dinosaurs is what we're going to go with. The dinosaurs known as the T-Rex in plural, its closest living ancestor are chickens, and I have 11 of them in close proximity to me right now. So that makes me pretty cool, I think. I essentially have like 11 dinosaurs in my garage right now. How many of you guys have 11 dinosaurs? Some of you may have more dinosaurs than me. I don't know. In some places, wealth is determined by how many animals you have, how many goats you have. Now I'm going to work on this spoon, which I thought was dry, and then I did all this stuff, but you see all this little burling? That's no bueno. No bueno, so we're going to have to do this again, which is fine. I have good memories associated with this spoon. This is the spoon where I got like 500,000 people watching, which was kind of crazy. Which is the reason I'm on here now. If you took political parties out of the argument, most people would agree on a lot of the stuff. Starting a political affiliation automatic. Yeah, exactly. It's binary opposition. If you're not this, then you're this. And very few people fall into that category. And it's, people don't think for themselves. People don't, and I don't think for myself a lot of the times. I mean, a lot of the things that let's be honest. Everything I'm saying is just something that I've read. I mean, I'm not coming up with all this stuff on the spot. I'm not like some, brilliant person. I'm just repeating things that I've read somewhere else. I'm repeating, things that other smart people said. So, this is what my psyche, my personality has retained so far, and it might change every day. We're changing people. Tomorrow, I might wake up and decide find something else that I agree. I don't want to get too much into things because different people have different opinions. I don't want to say anything to set anybody off, but like, people were executed back in the day, people were executed for having beliefs that went against the church, because the church was the thing that said that we are the center of everything as humans, and we are the reason that, that exists. And, people were executed for saying, well, actually, there's like we're not the center of anything, because, we're part of a solar system, and you see there's another one over there, and that's, got its own sun and planets rolling around. It's, we're not the center of the earth. We're just a part of nature. I'm no different than in the context of earth, I'm no different than a tree or a squirrel or a rabbit or whatever. I mean, I'm no better or worse, as far as being a living thing. Probably actually worse, because I consume more resources or whatever, but then resources are meant to be consumed. I don't know. This is how I drive myself crazy when I'm carving, or whittling rather. I let my mind wander, and that's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to question yourself and to you know, I don't know. It's a good thing to question yourself. It's a good thing to question things even if you believe them to be true. I'll say that. It's left, guys. So now is our time to wrap up the night and summarize what we did. We have detailed we have thoroughly detailed 4 spoons to my liking. So these will get oiled probably tomorrow. I'm probably going to take them in the house tonight just to make sure they're dry, to make sure in the morning when my sharp cuts are still sharp. Thanks for the combo. Enjoyed it. Have a great night. Yeah, you too. You too. Oh wait, I think I just read that already. It just said now though, so maybe it popped up again. But anyway, yeah. I do really enjoy this. It's great. And I think this is going to be the first time I've actually done the full 3 hours. So, yay me. And I do appreciate each and every one of you. Even the 5 of you who stopped by and downvoted me. That's cool too. Outward expression. You took away my internet point. Oh, my heart. But it's good to see that 46 people didn't hit the down button, you know. And all the other people who just stopped in, you know, and it wasn't their thing, they left. And that's cool too. But like I said, I enjoy each and every one of you guys. You guys are amazing. And I appreciate those of you who have stuck around. We've had paranormal poltergeist experiences. We've had chickens. We finished 4 spoons. I gave a banjo concert. We talked about metathesis and Chaucer. We talked about briefly transcendentalism. I taught somebody how to do the crook of a spoon with an axe. I feel like in the 3 hours we've been here, that's about all we've done. But we've had fun, right? We've had great fun. I've had great fun. And that's all that matters to me, that I've had fun. I don't care about you guys.